Hello and welcome to the Antiquarian Outlook for Week 9 of 2026, starting February 22nd. I'm Spencer W. Stuart, Collections Advisor, author of Contemporary Issues and Rare Books and Manuscript Collecting, and host of the monthly webinar Collecting Insights. For more details on my services, publications, and programs, follow the links below, along with links to the various auctions we'll discuss this week. Alright, on to the results. Tuesday, Kedem Auctions at Incunabula, First Editions, Illuminated Manuscripts, and Esther Scrolls. There were 13 lots offered, of which 13 sold. Highest price realized was Lot 7, More Nevashim by the Rambam, published in Rome between 1473 and 1475. Estimates were set at $2 million to $3 million US, realizing $1 million US. A lot that exceeded expectation was 9, Midrash Rabbah on the 5 books of the Torah, published in 1512. Estimates were set at $60,000 to $80,000 US, realizing just above $220,000 US. Next sale, New England Book Auctions had fine bindings, literature illustrated, including selections from the Austin Abbey Rare Books inventory. There were 222 lots offered, of which 216 sold, making for a 97% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 20, William Winter's Shakespeare's England from 1894, in a bespoke binding. Estimates were set at $1,500 to $2,500 US, realizing $4,750 US. A lot that exceeded expectation was 13. This great example of an Art Nouveau binding, Coventry Patmore's The Angel in the House from 1908. Estimates were set at $200 to $300 US, realizing $2,500 US. Next sale, Rossini had books and manuscripts. There were 450 lots offered, of which 224 sold, making for close to a 50% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was $205, a collection of approximately 530 pamphlets connected to the famous revolutionary newspaper Le Publiciste Parisien between 1789 and 1791. Estimates were set at 2,000 to 3,000 euros, realizing 1,800 euros. A buy-in of note, Lot 25, an image was not provided, 20 albums of mainly mint stamps from both France as well as its colonies. Estimates were set at 3,500 to 5,000 euros. A lot that exceeded expectation was 119, Regnier's Les Fortunes from 1526. Estimates were set at 100 to 200 euros, realizing 820 euros. On to Wednesday, Bonhams had prints and multiples, an online sale. There were 226 lots offered, of which 208 sold, making for a 92% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 11, Wayne Thébault's Valley Farm from 1993, an etching in aquatint. Estimates were set at $10,000 to $15,000 US, realizing $38,400 US. A buy-in of note, Lot 60, Jasper John's Cicada, from 8 lithographs to benefit the Foundation for Contemporary Performance Arts from 1981. Estimates were set at $10,000 to $15,000 US. A lot that exceeded expectation was Lot 81, Ben Nicholson's Greek and Turkish Forms from 1968, a complete set of 10 etchings. Estimates were set at $800 to $1,200 US, realizing $11,520 US. Next sale, Lyon and Turnbull had books and manuscripts. There were 253 lots offered, of which 232 sold, making for a 92% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 218, a first edition first impression of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Estimates were set at £30,000 to £50,000, realizing just above £77,000. A buy-in of note, Lot 96, an album of 51 small photographs attributed to Lieutenant Colonel Gerard Irvin Davies from 1904, mostly depicting Tibet. Estimates were set at £3,000 to £5,000. A lot that exceeded expectation was 45, albums of watercolors and sketches by Evelyn M. Alexander, including depictions of Indigenous people from Canada. Estimates were set at £500 to £800, realizing just under £23,000. Next sale, Brunk Auctions had Americana featuring the estate of Jimmy and Rosalind Carter. There were 434 lots offered, within which there were 66 items connected to ephemera, paper, and books. Within that 66, 64 sold, making for a 97% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 518, an important pardon for South Carolina Governor John Manning by President Andrew Johnson, dated 1865. Estimates were set at $5,000 to $7,000 realizing $38,000. A lot that exceeded expectation was 506, a land grant signed by John Quincy Adams from 1828. Estimates were set at $700 to $1,000 realizing $16,000. Next sale, Bonhams had heavyweights and headliners, legends in sports and rock, featuring the collection of George Kalinsky. There were 102 lots offered, within which there were 79 items connected to photography and print material. Within that 79 items, 59 sold, making for a 75% sell-through rate. Highest price realized within that section was Lot 99, Kalinsky's original photographic layout for Fight of the Century, Ali vs. Frazier, from 1971. Estimates were set at $5,000 to $8,000, realizing $5,376. A buy-in of note, Lot 58, Kalinsky's We Are the Champions, the New York Knicks celebrating after they won the second championship at the LA Forum in 1973. Estimates were set at $2,000 to $3,000. Next sale, Forum Auctions had Salvador Dali, Master of the Surreal. There were 135 lots offered, of which 120 sold, making for an 89% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 3, Dali's illustration for La Sainte Bible, a pen, black ink, watercolor, gouache, and collage on paper from 1964. Estimates were set at £30,000 to £50,000, realizing £55,000. A lot that exceeded expectation was 9, again Dali, Hell Canto 30 from the Divine Comedy, dated 1960. Estimates were set at £6,000 to £8,000, realizing £24,000. On to Thursday, Forum Auctions had an online sale, travel books, maps, and atlases. There were 346 lots offered, of which 316 sold, making for a 91% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 344, Petrus's Orbis Terrarum from 1594. Estimates were set at £4,000 to £6,000, realizing £4,600. A buy-in of note, Lot 33, Effendi's Sedid Atlas, the first atlas printed by Muslims, between 1803 to 1804. Estimates were set at £3,000 to £5,000. Next sale, Chiswick Auctions had prints and multiples. There were 257 lots offered, of which 210 sold, making for an 82% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 22, Lowry's Going to the Match from 1972. Estimates were set at £20,000 to £30,000, realizing £41,580. A buy-in of note, Lot 176, Damien Hirst's Doldrums from 2023. Estimates were set at £6,000 to £8,000. Next sale, Lay's Auctioneers had rare books and works on paper. There were 350 lots offered, of which 295 sold, making for an 84% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 18, Edmund Sawyer's Memorials of Affairs of State in the Reign of Queen Elizabeth, published in 1725 in 3 volumes. Estimates were set at £150 to £200, realizing £2,300. A buy-in of note, Theophrastus's Historia from 1644. Estimates were set at £1,200 to £1,600. Next sale, PBA Galleries had PBA Platinum. There were 118 lots offered, of which 59 sold, making for a 50% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was shared by 2 lots. Lot 25, a first edition of Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep from 1968. Estimates were set at $20,000 to $30,000, realizing $21,250, as well as Lot 39, Richard Feynman's copy of Introduction to Theoretical Physics from 1933. Estimates were set at $20,000 to $30,000, realizing $21,250. A buy-in of note, Lot 30, John Forster's The Life of Charles Dickens, published between 1872 and 1874 in 7 volumes. Estimates were set at $20,000 to $30,000. Next sale, Reggio Arts and Auctions had prints and multiples. There were 202 lots offered, of which 181 sold, making for a 90% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for Lot 102, Andy Warhol's Flowers from 1970, a screen print. Estimates were set at $30,000 to $50,000, realizing just under $70,000. A buy-in of note, Lot 235, Louis Bourgeois' Topiary, The Art of Improving Nature from 1998. Estimates were set at $30,000 to $50,000. Next sale, Bonhams had vintage posters and online sale. There were 88 lots offered, of which 60 sold, making for a 68% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was for Lot 25, Holbein's 1912 poster for the Munich Zoo. Estimates were set at £5,000 to £7,000, realizing just above £12,000. A buy-in of note, Lot 16, Toulouse-Lautrec's Artiste Brouillon dans le Cabaret, a lithograph poster from 1893. Estimates were set at £8,000 to £12,000. Next sale, Swan Galleries had vintage posters. There were 326 lots offered, of which 249 sold, making for a 76% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 121, Remacher's Le Syphilis from 1922. Estimates were set at $1,000 to $1,500, realizing $40,640. A buy-in of note, Lot 101, Toulouse-Lautrec's poster for Le Moulin Rouge from 1892. Estimates were set at $20,000 to $30,000. Final sale for Thursday, Bonhams had entertainment memorabilia featuring Gene Hackman. There were 167 lots offered, of which 155 sold, making for a 93% sell-through rate. Highest price realized was Lot 34, a group of memorabilia connected to the film Crimson Tide from 1995. Estimates were set at $200 to $300, realizing $10,240. For a hyperlinked list of next week's auctions we have an eye on, please get in touch with us directly. As always, the Antiquarian Outlook is totally independent. Its producers do not hold inventory, nor do they represent any consignments or acquisitions mentioned. In the news, registration remains open for the March sessions that will start next week. Registrants will receive a complimentary copy of Contemporary Issues and Rare Books and Manuscript Collecting. If you have any questions about the course content and which sessions may suit you best, please get in touch with us directly. We look forward to hearing from you. Well, that's been the week from here. What did you think of last week's results? Anything surprise you? Anything you had your eye on? Remember, if you want to stay up to date, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on your notifications, and let others know about this program. Thanks again for tuning in. All for now, and we'll see you next week.